Hey guys, I'm the 50s Kid. This is my E46 BMW. In this video, we're gonna do a complete power steering line refresh. I'm gonna remove all the old lines and install new ones along with a new reservoir. The reason I'm doing this is because my main pressure line, it's actually kind of weeping. I think it's kind of common with E46s, that rubber line, it just will weep over time. And so, nothing's leaking particularly badly. I'm just kind of doing this as, it's a good preventative maintenance. I'm just going to replace that. Another small hose that typically is a problem, and this is more of a problem, is the smaller line that comes from the drain reservoir and goes into that comes from the fluid reservoir and goes into the power steering cooler loop. It's the one that has the quick connect on it. It's going to be the shorter one. It's got kind of a strange set of bends in it. That one will actually start to crack and go bad. I guess that's just sort of a hotter area or whatever. Those bends, just the way they made them, they start to crack over time. A lot of those actually have a problem. And typically, if you're going to have a leak on this, if you're going to have a power steering fluid leak on this car, it's going to be from that line. That line can be really difficult to get off because of that quick connect fitting. But I've got a trick for you, which you're really going to love. So anyway, hopefully you'll find some interest in this video. So hey, let's get started. So we've got a whole kit that was sent out to us by OEMBimmerparts.com. Actually Rhine hoses, okay? And let's see, this is that small hose that I was talking about a second ago. This has got the sort of quick connect fitting on the end of it. Let me pull this off. Pull this off right there. See, it's got one of these quick connects. Now it'll connect on really quick, but it's actually a pain to remove. Hopefully you can see sort of on the inside. You're probably not going to be able to see this, but let me get a little flashlight for you. So can we see on the inside there are those four little sort of teeth on the inside, and when you push this gray thing, it sort of compresses in the little metal teeth, and that's how you're able to get this off. But the problem is these kind of, the plastic gets hard over time, and they're really difficult to actually use. Dirt gets in there and stuff, and maybe you can kind of push it up on the top, on the bottom, on the top easily, but then it's hard to get the bottom in. And it's a pain in the ass to get these off, particularly when they're really old. I've had these crumble away on me and then had to use a variety of methods to get them off. Really kind of a pain in the butt, but this is the line in question that is actually sort of, this one likes to crumble, okay, or this one likes to sort of crack in these bends, and it actually starts to leak. So this is the most problematic hose. This one, usually you don't have too many problems with this one. This one also runs up to the reservoir and then runs down to the power steering pump itself. You don't really have many problems with this one, but I'm going to replace it anyway as a matter of course. And this is the other line that goes up to the cooler loop, and then this goes down to the steering rack. Don't really see too many problems with this particular line. This one, however, this is the main line. Let's open this guy up. Now there are going to be two different versions of this line depending on if you have the LF20 or the LF30 pump. And the difference is going to be that this part, this line right here, it's either going to be out like that, or it's going to come down and go up and sort of in from the side. This one connects sort of into the side like that. The other one goes in from the bottom, I do believe. So it's all about like which one you get. Now, I was looking at this line and I was seeing something really strange about it compared to the line that's on the car. The line that's on the car, see, this is sort of the position of the line once it's kind of connected up in the car, like it's sort of like that. The line in the car has this part horizontal like that. So in other words, this end kind of sits like that, right? This new line has it at a 90 degree angle to that. So that's kind of weird. I was going back and forth with Max there, and he was swearing that he'd done one of these in the past and it kind of all turned out okay. And what I did was I just took a look under the car and took a look at the position of this bracket, and I just figured out that, yeah, they redesigned this line at some point. and they just made it so that it's going to go like that instead of like that. But then the position of these fittings is correct, and this will fit up in the car and it will be just fine. So I just wanted to throw that information out there because it was definitely confusing to me when I first took a look at that. So we also have, with our kit, we've got band clamps, which I'm actually not going to use. I'm going to use something else. And he did throw in new washers and even a new O-ring for probably for the line that goes into the power steering pump, which was this big line right here. Probably on the end right here, there's an O-ring, which is kind of cool. I would assume that it comes with one, but we shall see. We also have a new reservoir. And of course, it's recommended to replace the reservoir because they have a filter inside of them. Now, they say you should replace them because they have the filter inside, but you know what? I don't think it's a closed system. Like, you're not going to be getting debris into the system. I think the filter is just basically that white thing in there, which I don't know if we can even see. See, it's just that sort of white thing on the inside there. I think it's just a simple little particulate filter for when you're putting fluid in. It just prevents the particulates from getting down into the system. That's what I think that is. And I personally don't think you need to replace them because of that filter. I think you need to replace them because of this O-ring. This O-ring will go bad over time and the fluid will just start weeping from the top, which mine did go bad, and I did buy a new O-ring for it at some point, but then I forgot to install it and misplaced the O-ring, and it's been leaking ever since. So yeah, anyway, I got this whole like refresh kit from OEMBimmerParts.com. Those are friends of mine. I work with them. They're really awesome. They send me out parts, and all they ask and all I ask in exchange is if you go ahead and check out their website if you are looking for some parts for your BMW, because they have a really great website. It's super nicely organized by car, and then when you get into each car section, it's all organized by, you know, major categories, and then when you look in there, it's like they only really list the parts that you're looking to replace, and they have basically two brands. They've got the OEM brand and they have a good aftermarket brand. Their site's really cool. So anyway, I really appreciate it, guys, if you would check them out if you are looking to buy some parts for your BMW. Another bit of kit that I picked up for this job is this guy. I got this from eBay. I will throw a link down in the description. It was really hard to find this particular kit with these exact sizes. I knew which sizes I needed before I started because I measured the existing hoses. These are basically the OEM clips that come with the car. These are what, like, if you've never touched your system, you're gonna have to be taking these things off, which in order to take them off, you just slip a screwdriver underneath here and you just kind of twist like a flathead screwdriver, and you twist and it'll kind of break it off. You also just want to, if you can get at this little tab right here with a little, you know, kind of side cutters or something, you can just cut that little tab off. That helps you get them off. These are the OEM sort of clamps. The car doesn't come with worm clamps. It comes with these kind of clamps, and I just wanted to, you know, I wanted to stay OEM with this particular thing since I'm kind of replacing everything. It'd be kind of cool, you know. So I decided to get this kit. It's got the two sizes that we need for this particular job, and it'll be good to have the rest of the sizes. It also comes with a little installer tool, which is kind of nice. And it wasn't overly expensive. I think this was 30 bucks. So totally optional. You don't need to do it. The whole kit comes with ring clamps if you want to use those, and there's nothing wrong with those. I just wanted to do this just cause. So one of the biggest hassles on this whole job is going to be removing these quick connect fittings. Like I said, it's really difficult. There's especially like no access down in there. You can't get your hand down in there. So the big secret, the big tip I have for you is these pliers from Lisle. These are made for fuel lines and such, and they are the perfect size to actually slip in like that, slip on, and push the little thing in. Okay? Really awesome. Lisle makes some great tools. So the thing is, this is actually, even still with this tool, it's going to be difficult to kind of get it in there and push it and get the line out. So this is kind of the access you have. You really don't have any, you know, it's like you can't even get your hand all the way in there because the light's kind of in the way, and so is the coolant reservoir. So if you could get the coolant reservoir off of there, that would actually make it a lot easier to get at that line. Same for the light. I think I don't want to mess with the coolant this particular time. It's just, it gets really messy. So I think I'm going to try to remove the light. Hopefully that'll give us access enough. Even before I remove the light, I actually do have room enough to slip the tool in and get the top one off. The problem is I'm not going to be able to get the bottom one off because the top line is from the hard cooler line is going to be sticking out and kind of interfering, and there's not going to be room enough to kind of get at it at an angle. I'm going to need to remove the light for sure. And I'm going to see if I can remove the light without removing the bumper. All you really need to do is remove the trim around here, but sometimes it can be a little difficult to come off. So you can get that side off, and hopefully if the bottom comes off relatively easily, yeah, that's nice. Sometimes, you know, the plastic on the clips here and here can be a little difficult. And the trick really is getting it off the end there without breaking anything, which I think we managed to. I think because this clip here was already broken off of my piece. So yeah, I mean, if you tilt this out too much, you're going to break off these ends, and then the outside's going to kind of hang. So I typically don't like to do it. I just go ahead and remove the whole bumper. That way I don't risk anything. But hey, we got it done this time. So you're definitely meant to take the whole bumper off when you do this. There's this one bolt through here, which I'm almost certainly going to drop when I do get it off. But this is the way I'm doing it. Definitely not meant to come off that way. Well, now you can see that we have easy access to both. So I'll be able to get the tool on this way. Right there for that one. Let me get it so you guys can see. So that's that one. And then once that's gone, we'll be able to do the bottom one. Boom, just like that. So that should be good. So now we can proceed to go ahead and drain out all the fluid, and we'll finish up. So this is typically what I'm talking about with the old line. It weeps, it collects fluid over time, gets dirty and stuff, and you know, it's time for a refresh. Okay, it's best to tear all the old stuff out first. We will start with just the main feed line. Or that is actually the return line, I suppose. So this is the in to the pump. This line goes into the pump. This line is the pressure line coming out of the pump. That's the pressurized fluid. This one, again, is not going to be a worm clamp. It's going to be, again, those same clamps, the OEM style clamps. This is going to drain out most of the fluid here, so let's go easy. There we go. Okay, while we're at it, let's remove the pressure line. This is going to be a 17 mil. Okay, there we are. So that long line is sort of clamped into the side of the power steering rack right there. That's a 10. So we'll just remove that, and that'll be ready to go. So the last two lines, which are the pressure lines that go into the steering rack, are difficult to show because the boot for the tie rod is hiding them, but there they are up over top. You can see there are two bolts right there. This one in front is a 22 and the one in back is a 19. So they're easy to get at with a ratchet. I just can't get a shot of them directly for you. It looks like I got a 19 on here. So we'll do the 19 like that. And it's got a little sort of 1-inch extension. You can also just use a deep socket, and that'll do the trick for you. You know, now that I got that loose, I think I can just use my ratchet to speed that out. Electric, that is. Hey. I feel that it's loose. So what we'll do, we'll reach up, grab that bolt, that banjo bolt, along with the washer. Fish that guy out, and he's out. Let's get that lower one off of there. Long ratchet really helps for this. You guys might need a breaker bar if you don't have a long ratchet. That's okay. Your 1/2 inch set should have 19 mil sockets, should have a 22 millimeter socket, and breaker bars are really cheap, so the tools to do this are absolutely accessible to anyone. Grab that one out of there. So you want to make sure that you get the old washer. That way it's not stuck. Just make sure that it's not stuck on the power steering rack, so you don't want to double up your washers by mistake. So make sure you get both of your washers. You see that I have 2 of them right here. Now it's time to remove these lines. Of course, the short end goes there. Slip the big end over there. Just do that. Comes right off. Makes super quick work of it too. Really nice. Let's get this back. Let's slip this over here. Slip backwards. Yep, we are loose on that one. Looks like there's a little, there's sort of a little hold down. So what I was talking about was these are actually sort of hooked to the body right down here. There's one there, and then there's one sort of further behind it. And it's just a pain in the ass to get these off. It was not coming out. So I just kind of broke them off. The reason I did that is because I have like a fastener that will replace this. It's sort of a little Christmas tree thing that'll stick down inside of a hole, and then it's a zip tie on the other end. They're really easy to get, but these obviously are available from BMW if you want to keep completely stock. They're going to be 2 13s to remove the reservoir bracket. You don't really have to remove the reservoir bracket, but I want to clean it off. So I'm removing it. Now we just got to get our little clamps off the bottom there. Looks like I've got a mishmash of stuff. Get some paper towels underneath there, especially the belt. Don't want any fluid on my belt. Okay. And old hose there. That one's going to fall down through. Get that out of there. And now we pause for some cleanup. Let's start with this new hose. I already pulled that old one out of there. We just got to kind of lay it down into place. I'm going to pull this sort of up and out of the way because these are usually broken anyway right there. I doubt yours is going to be all good. So let's get this new hose in place, snap it in, and I did bring those zip ties somewhere. That's these. You can get these, you can probably get these on Amazon. They're cheap, super cheap. So I'm just going to use that. Let's see which way I want to go. I think I'm going to go around the bottom. Snap this into that hole right there and zip it down. Get these little flush cutting pliers just for zip ties, just so you don't cut your arm open on a zip tie, on the edge of a zip tie later on in life. Now we can get this guy back in. That's sort of our little spacer. That's for the coolant hose there. Nice, we are in place there. So for these little clamps, the larger hose at either end is going to take the 25.6 millimeter sized clamps, and this smaller one is going to be the 18.5. So I'll just get those up in place. This one I can just snap in right there, so it's just waiting for us. This one, I'll put it in place on the new reservoir first. So get it in place like that. Our reservoir is going to clamp in like that. I'm gonna run our line down and around where it needs to be, like that. Might be a little difficult because this clamp is a little bit, just a little on the small side. Let's see if we can do that. We might end up needing some silicone paste for that. Will silicone paste hurt anything on the inside of the pump system? I highly doubt it. There we go. All you need is just a tiny little bit. I just want to get this clamp up into place, this bracket. I will go ahead and kind of clamp these in place. A little more clamping action on that one. Let me get you a close-up of that. So there you go. That makes for a very stock-looking replacement job. I really like that. So I'm gonna mount the reservoir up a little bit so that that bottom hose is not touching on the alternator. Now, you see where I put the new hose? It's sort of on this side of that coolant pipe there. That's not where it goes. It goes on the inside. So let's just reposition it so that's on the inside. Like that. We probably could have done that from underneath, no problems. So let's do this hose, the bottom end of this hose first. I'm going to put this on such that the little thing is sticking on the outside just in case I ever need to get at it, even though sticking a screwdriver in between the big end will separate it. Thing needs to be double articulated. Okay. There we go. That's on. So I am a little confused why they threw in the green O-ring for this. I assume it has to be for this because the old one has a green O-ring, as you can see. Make sure your green O-ring comes out with the old hose, by the way, and it's not stuck inside. This one, it comes with an O-ring. It's got a black O-ring. It looks actually slightly thicker, or maybe that's just my eyes, but I think it's fine, and I'll just go ahead and use it. Should be fine. This new one wants to go like this, right? Okay. So it's going to go up like that. That's how it wants to go. So let's stick this in. It's just getting difficult to turn. Okay, once again, I really can't show this process because it's just in an impossible to film place for me. Yeah, I gotta tell you, it's darn nice of them to include multiple O-rings because I think they knew you'd struggle and lose a couple of them. When it comes to this one, I am getting that that carpal tunnel thing going on. It's really painful. Okay, so I've got everything in, and the new line is definitely, well, it's weird. Let me get this tightened down first. Okay, so that's that bottom one in, which is the bigger one, the 22. So now let's get the top one tightened down. Okay, so there's that one in. I'm sort of bending that line just to make sure it's not touching anything, just because I feel like that's what it should be. And then we'll put this bracket up. You can see that this is supposed to be up at this angle like this, so it's supposed to be going up like that, strangely enough. I don't know why they did this. I don't know why they redesigned the part. Now we just need to finish tightening this up. Okay. Everything's looking good. Nothing's touching anything else. We should be all good to go. So any old Dexron 3 ATF fluid will do. It can be Dexron 3, non-synthetic. It can be Dexron 6, which is synthetic. Doesn't really matter. Probably gonna take the whole bottle. Since we gotta run our engine, I'm just gonna stick the MAF sensor back on, just so everybody doesn't freak out. I'll just turn it lock to lock. We already need more. I can already hear it. There we go. So yeah, I'm just gonna turn it lock to lock. Get that fluid circulating around. Okay. Be roughly back in place. Shut that down. Now all we gotta do is let the bubbles settle out and we will top that fluid up. And this is what I mean by bubbles. Got a lot of that cavitation happening, so that's a lot of bubbles mixed in with the fluid. You just gotta let this settle out a couple minutes. So that's it for this video, guys. Definitely the Rockstar tool was the fuel line remover by Lisle. I'll put a link where you can get one down in the description. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. I'm the 50s Kid. Thanks a lot for watching.